the Sony A7IV is definitely better than the Panasonic Lumix S5 and S5IIX and some of the Fujis for me. And here's why. I'm an avid photographer and a videographer. I'm good at both, so I do both. And the Sony A7IV has a whole lot of megapixels, 33 to be exact. And that's good for photos. So when you're taking pictures, you could crop in a bit after the fact that the picture is taken. And for videos, it has 7K oversampled 4K basically. So the 4K is oversampled from 7K, if that's the how they say it, right? So you definitely could crop in a bit more than you could on the, let's say, the FX3 or other cameras. The Panasonic has what, 24.2 megapixels, I think. But yeah, so that's the reason why I went with this one, because it's the best of both worlds. It's a hybrid beast. It's good for photos and it's good for videos. So we're not going too deep into the specs because there's a lot of videos on YouTube for that, so you can go check one of them out. But we're just going to talk about what I use this camera for and how good it's been to me over the past year plus. So the Sony A7IV has been that camera for me. Coming from the A6500, it's a welcome upgrade, I must say. I was shooting photos, videos, everything you can think of on the A6500. And one thing the A6500 didn't have that this has is the 4K 60. 1080p 60 was fine, but after a while, you want to see that crispy look. Because when I was shooting on the A6500, anytime I shoot 4K 24, I was like, wow, only if the slow motion could look this good, this sharp. So I was always dreaming of getting an upgrade to the camera, but the price was kind of way out there. So I put the work in, did my grind, saved up some money, got this, got the 24 to 70 Sigma right here, and I never looked back since, right? Sorry, A6500. So the reason why I eventually made up my mind and went with the A7IV over the S5IIX and the S5II are the Fujis. Small reasons, but big for me, right? So the Lumix, you didn't have enough megapixels. Yes, it's good enough for photos. Yes, if you're not blowing up the photos, you're good. And it has a 96 megapixel mode, which I know about. So, but that's really for landscape and stuff. But that was the main reason why I didn't went with it. The 4K as well, 60, and I realized that it has a crop. This does too, but that was one of the reasons I was pretty upset about. But if it had 4K 60 no crop, I'll definitely go with that sacrifice megapixels because that would be a win-win for me. But I realized that it has the same crop just as the A7IV. So I really wanted the open gate, but then again, the open gate didn't have slow motion. So I'm saying I'll wait until I get something around, let's say 6K 40 frames per second. I'll work with that. That's enough slow motion for highlight events because you know the clients want both videos for social media and YouTube these days. So open gate would be welcomed, but until we get slow motion in the open gate, then I might consider back the Panasonic. Fuji is doing some real good stuff. They're stepping up their game. I love their color science. Love their color science, especially their photos. They have enough megapixels for videos as well. But I was shooting APS-C for years. And yes, there's not much of a difference between APS-C and full frame. But the thing is, I've been shooting APS-C for years and I wanted to see what full frame was like. And I like it. You get a little bit more bokeh, and yes, you could purchase lenses that are low in aperture f-stop or faster lens to mimic back what full frame is giving you. But that's purchasing more lens, and I'm the type of guy to just keep one lens on my camera, which is a 24-70, and do everything with it from photos to videos and carry on with my day. So that was my main reasons for not going with the Fuji. And then you hear my reason why I didn't go with the Panasonic. Oh, and the Panasonic also had something to do, like they're saying the HDMI has a delay or something like that. And I saw quite a few reviewers saying the same thing. The same thing about it as well. And I was like, that's big for me because I use monitors on my camera all the time. So for it to have a delay, that won't work well for me. So I use this camera for photography because I have a studio. It's also my office where I do photo shoots and video shoots and such. That becomes a YouTube studio by night, work office by day. So I'll give you a tour on that maybe in the next video. But I use this camera to do my studio photo shoots because I have the Savage backdrops, multiple colors and lights and AD600s to do professional photo shoots like these, right? And then for video, I do highlight events as I stated. Even commercials. You rig this camera up on the tilt advance ring and couple V-mounts and thing, and you're good to go. Who can tell that it's a hybrid camera and not a cinema camera? Nobody. Because the client don't know what's best. They just want it to look big, so it looks like they're spending their money well. That's it. So just rig it up, get that client. But one more reason I want to touch on why I chose this camera over every other camera. The autofocus can't be beat. The autofocus cannot be beat. Like, come on, guys. I see where you say autofocus is not all that, and you're not a real shooter if you only use autofocus, and blah, 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 blah. But the autofocus on Sony cameras are top notch. Lumix is getting there, but they have a long way to go, and so does Fuji. Canon and Sony is the top shooters, but Sony is in the #1 spot. Canon is too expensive for my pocket, so I stick to what I can afford. So that's another reason why I chose this camera. Now for the negatives, because where there's good, there's bad. So the negative for me is the fact that it overheats in 4K 60, and it does it real quick, especially where I live. I live in Jamaica, so it's pretty hot right here around, right? So it overheats. I purchased a Ulanzi fan that helps. I'll link it below so you could get it there. And you know, anything you purchase from my links below, I get a little kickback to help me to maintain my lifestyle, career, etc. So I purchased that Ulanzi fan and it kind of give me anywhere between 45 minutes to an additional hour when I'm shooting. So it works. That's a quick fix, but I don't like the fact that I have to get external gear to get extra time from the camera. Why don't they just pop a fan in this like how they do with the FX30 and FX3? But typical Sony, Sony is the Apple of our world. They charge a bag of money, you understand? And give you little to nothing. My FX30 has 4K 120. It's a cheaper camera. But my camera for 2005 don't. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But it is what it is. I already purchased it. Oh, and currently it's dead now. I don't know what's happening. We're getting a blinking red light. You could see it in my previous video. Still trying to figure it out, but I guess I might have to get it repaired. And I'm assuming that the overheat cost it. So, yeah. So, until the next one, like, share, subscribe. I'm out. Peace. All right. Still here.